Ho, ho, ho. I hope you're having a wonderful week of holidays, Christmas, whatever. Happy Christmas Eve. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome to the Scratch Golf Show. My name is Marco and I'm your host. We always talk all things golf, YouTube, and professional here on the Scratch Golf Show. But we are doing some office renovations, studio renovations to make this thing better for you guys. So we got a janky setup today. Anyway, today we have the man who changed YouTube golf history. We have Brendan Jones, the senior producer for Barstool Sports and Foreplay. He edited and is responsible for the Internet Invitational, a good amount of it, and he changed YouTube golf history. I love having the editors and producers on the Scratch Golf Show to showcase a lot of the stuff that you guys don't see that goes into creating this amazing content. And there was a lot of work behind the scenes that went into the Internet Invitational. We talk about all of it. We get into who Brendan is, some stories. Make sure you stick around to the end to support Brendan. Like the video, leave your comments below, and please hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 10,000 by the end of this year. It's giving season. It's Christmas. Give me a gift. Hit the sub button. Now, without further ado, let's get an interview with Brendan Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got one of the, I guess, biggest guests to date because he is responsible for the best piece of content on YouTube golf history. We've got the senior producer from Foreplay Barstool Sports, Mr. Brendan Jones. Brendan, welcome to the Scratch Golf Show, my friend. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thanks for having me on, man. I don't do a lot of these, so I appreciate you reaching out. I'm happy to be here and can't wait to chat.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. It's been a bit crazy for you these last, going back to August is when you guys filmed this thing. And man, it was probably the best piece of YouTube golf content ever. I don't know how you guys are going to top it with the second one, but man, you have a true talent, man. I know you've talked about it, like Skylar and Colin have reached out. Like Skylar's been on this channel, Ryder, Garrett's guy has been on this channel. So I appreciate the editors, man, because you guys are the straw that stirs the drink. And man, just congrats to you on all the success. But I guess to start, man, just you mind introing yourself, who you are, where you're from, and your role with Foreplay.
Yeah, man. Of course. Well, I appreciate that and all the love to the behind the scenes crew. Everybody works super super hard, and it's been really cool getting to know the Skylers, the Colin Rosses, the Maxes, the Riders of the world, Carney, who was like a huge piece of the Internet Invitational. Like getting to know those guys and their work ethic and their skills and talents has been unbelievable. They're all like such a talented group of people. And then like my team at Barstool, Kyle Timms, Jared DeLibero, Ryan Richardson, our new pod producer, like just finding these types of talent and getting to work with them is super, super cool and awesome. But yeah, no, I'm Brendan Jones, the one of the many pieces of the Internet Invitational, but was for sure in charge of the on-site and post-production of it all. Been with Barstool for over 5 years now. I started in February of 2020, and then a month later, the world shut down. So it was a little bit of a weird start. I wound up moving to Pinehurst for like a month, living with Riggs, and then kind of off we went into the Barstool universe, just editing and filming and doing whatever those boys really needed me to do in terms of post production and behind the scenes. And now we've kind of grown into this monster that has now kind of taken on these huge, giant creator tournaments. So it's been a wild ride, but I appreciate you once again.
Yeah, man. YouTube golf is crazy. I heard you talking about it in your Foreplay one, like going from like the Kisner scramble, which is a great video, by the way. I still remember watching that, like him getting super fucked up and but like, dude, just like no tracers to what you guys did with the Internet Invitational, man. I remember seeing the timeline pop up on my Twitter feed and like I'm messaging somebody on whoever it was, like the anxiety that gives me because like I do a very simple video, for me it's like 3 or 4, video lines, a couple odd, like you guys had like 48 dude, just is it insane, man. But we're going to get into the Internet Invitational talk here in a few minutes. I want to spend a few minutes talking about your role and how you kind of got into Barstool. You alluded to it. You started at the Rigs, and for like the OG people who follow, like that was such a time, right, for Rigs and like the whole Pinehurst thing. But I guess you started as like a news anchor before that, and now you're the senior producer of Barstool. I guess walk me through how you got from point A to point B.
Yeah, it's definitely been a little bit of a journey, kind of to wind up where I'm at now. I started at a startup sports network down in Florida. When I graduated from Stony Brook University's journalism school, I went right down there for 2 years. I worked at a place called the American Sports Network, which doesn't even exist anymore. And I was a PA. So I was hired as just like a production assistant. I always wanted to do like hosting or sports reporting or anchoring or something kind of more on camera, camera facing, just because I thought that was cool when I was a kid. Love watching Sports Center, like Stuart Scott and John Butchergross and Scott Van Pelt. I was like, these guys are awesome. Like, I want to try to be, one of them. So I always wanted to do it. So when I went to Florida and worked at that startup sports network, I was once again like kind of editing behind the scenes, but I kind of pitched myself to like the GM of content or whoever. Like, it was one of the executive producers. I was like, hey man, if you guys need like a part-time anchor host to talk about hockey, because we cover a little bit of hockey and I'm very familiar, with hockey, having played forever. Like, I'm your guy. Like, you don't have to pay me anything. Like, I'm a PA. Here's my reel from like college, and I'll just do it. And I did a little bit of it down there. And then 2 years in, wound up having like this big company meeting. The company got sold. So I was like laid off, 2 years into my career as like a media person, and I was like, this sucks. And then I wound up using some connections from the American Sports Network to get a job at the MLB and NHL networks as a AP, like an associate producer. Then I was kind of like behind the scenes. So I had interned at like a local news station on Long Island called News 12, which is what you're alluding to. And I was like a producer there for a little while, kind of just producing the local sportscast. But I also had handed the sports director my reel and was like, hey, I could do weekends, holidays, like whatever you want me to do. I don't want to give up this part of my career just yet. Like, I do enjoy kind of running through highlights. And at that time, I didn't know I'd wind up at Barstool or anything. So I was like, I just want to keep all of the doors open, right? I just want to do what I want to do, and also whatever you guys need me to do. So I would produce some of the local news shows like on the weekends and holidays, like I said, but then I was 5 days a week at the MLB and the NHL network and kind of just APing there. So that was like strictly editing and like helping produce some studio shows. And that was more like the full time role. So I was doing both of those things at the same time. And excuse me. And then I wound up growing a little bit at the MLB and the NHL network just because it's a little bit more of like a corporate structure. There was like some more opportunity there. I wound up becoming like a segment producer and really honing in like the post production skills, like editing and shooting a little bit here and there. And then I was 3 years kind of balancing those two jobs, doing the hosting and anchoring at News 12, and then also behind the scenes at the MLB and the NHL networks. And then the head of Barstool, his name's Sean, goes by Loud Sean, who most OG Barstool fans, I think you might even know who that is. He defected from MLB Network and went to Barstool to run their video department, and then he started kind of just pulling some people from MLB Network to come and kind of create the video team at Barstool, which a lot of the people still remain today. This was like 5+ years ago. So Loud Sean's no longer there, but I wound up being one of the people that he asked to come over and kind of head the new foreplay video kind of team. That wasn't really a team, but they were looking to do more video. So yeah, man, like 5 years ago, I left the MLB and NHL networks and News 12 and joined the foreplay boys full time, and now we're here.
So you didn't even did you have like a formal interview process with like Riggs or anyone on the team? Like, how did that work before like you even, or did Loud Sean just kind of set you up and say, hey, you're working with Foreplay now?
No, he reached out and asked, and there was a couple other people that he had already taken that I had reached out to and been like, "What's this opportunity about? Like, is this good?" And they were like, "Yeah, you're kind of ground floor, so I think you should definitely take the interview." I interviewed with Loud Sean, and then a couple others, and then I guess I was kind of like, I passed those tests essentially. And then Riggs was still in the office at that time, and it was just him and Trent, but Trent wasn't really making any like decisions on hiring. So yeah, it was just Riggs, and he'll tell you that I wore like this Peter Millar. Uh, no, it's Peter Millar like quarter zip that had like a Shinnecock logo on. And at the time, Peter Millar was like one of the only sponsors of the Barstool golf guys, and he's like, this guy kind of knows what he's talking about. It was kind of by coincidence. Like I did know that, but I also didn't think about it that morning when I was like, I'm going to put on this quarter zip or whatever. But he always says like that's what sold me on this guy. And then I guess I also kind of just said the right things to him. And yeah, he was really the only one. It was Loud Sean and Riggs, and now we're here.
Love that, man. What a story, because like obviously the OG, and obviously Barstool I think is or four plays with Adidas now, which is crazy, right? Congratulations. I know you guys did that announcement. Yeah, love that, man. Congrats. That's awesome. But I remember obviously the OG or like older fans remember the Peter Millar days back in the day, man. That is awesome. And it's crazy to like that feels like not that long ago, at least in my head. Like that whole COVID, like that doesn't feel that long ago, but it's like we're coming on, 6 years now, man. And it's been crazy to like these last years have just flown by, at least in my head. And to touch on something you said, man, like the Stuart Scotts, like I grew up in that era as well. And like, I wanted to be a professional athlete, like whatever. But I always thought the coolest job in the world was having your own platform or like sports anchor to talk about sports. Like now that I get to do it with my show, it's like the coolest thing in the world. And that's why I love it. That's why I do it, because like McAfee, I think, is more my inspiration because like I love Pat and I've been watching him since COVID. But like growing up on those sports center guys, dude, I can reminisce with that. Like Stuart Scott, SVP, Butcher Gross, like all those guys, man. I thought it was the coolest job in the world. So I
Oh
I
man,
can relate to that.
you'd wake up, come downstairs before school, and just like try to catch an hour of Sports Center, or
Yep.
like try to like I would try to wait for the bus. Like the bus was at like whatever time it would come at, 6:58, and I'd be like, they gotta do top 10
Yeah.
before I
Oh
gotta
yeah.
leave to like go outside and like catch the bus. And like that was like if I didn't catch the top 10 that morning, I was like kind of pissed, like walking
Yeah.
on the bus. Like, I can't believe that I had to turn off ESPN to like go freaking to school today. But yeah, that was kind of like I mean, I feel like that's a lot of people, man. Like you
Oh
said,
yeah.
just people trying to tune into to the old school Sports Center. No longer really, no, it's no longer how it was. I could say that, but yeah, that was kind of where I wanted to go and be, and then things kind of develop and change, and you realize what the industry kind of offers at times, and you just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Well, fast forward to now, we're almost in 2026 now, right? Like, what has been the last few years like? Some of your favorite memories, or I guess stories, working with the Foreplay Boys. Well, it could be behind the scenes, pod, whatever. Like, I'm just curious to hear working at Barstool, how cool it's been, and like I said, some of your favorite stories over these past few years.
Dude, you kind of alluded to it, or I guess I kind of alluded to it. Like my first couple months at Barstool, when I look back at it, were hilarious. Like I literally got a job, started February 1st. The COVID like officially hits like March 20th or whatever, like a month and a half later. I didn't know what the hell to do. I knew that I was supposed to like to do video for these guys, but now nobody could like create content or go outside or like speak to each other. So I was like, I'm kind of lost. I don't really know what's happening, right? So I just go up to Riggs in the office and was like, hey, I know you're going down to Pinehurst. I know we have this travel series that nobody's ever really done before, and it's based out of Pinehurst. Like you guys played, 248 Tobacco Road, and I'm going to be editing that. Like, if you need me to come down there, I'd love to one help you create content, but two, I'd love to just like get a feel for the Pinehurst area. I didn't come on the trip with you guys; like somebody else went and shot and filmed it all. So I'd love to like maybe interview some people down there or fly the drone and get some more beauty footage, or maybe do like a hole by hole thing. And he was like, yeah, sure. Like, we'll see what happens. I don't know like what's going to kind of be the situation when I'm down there. Dude, like lo and behold, like probably 5 weeks later, he texted me and was like, yeah, man, if you want to come down, I got an extra room. You could get everything and anything you need from Pinehurst, or like pretty much just letting us do whatever we want. And I'm like, that's amazing. Let me see. And so I just like talked to a couple people back home, and I was like, I'm gonna drive to Pinehurst. I'm gonna drive 8.5 hours from Long Island to Pinehurst, and I did that, and I stayed with Riggs for like 33 straight days. Interviewed like Tom Pashley, who was the president of Pinehurst, a couple other like professionals down there, caddies. Kind of just tried to add some like production value to the series, and we wound up coming out with the series while we were still down there. So it was like really cool to like be on site and like have a video come out, and then like go to the clubhouse the next day and people be like, oh man, like that was so cool, like it was amazing. And it was like kind of the first of its kind, for the most part. So like those early days were really really cool, but then like fast forwarding to having that and the kids match, which was like only a couple weeks after, you know I got down there for COVID. Fast forwarding to like filming around at Cypress Point with the guys has been like just a crazy wild journey. So yeah, man, those early days I always look back on like often just because of what it's turned into today. It's very funny to just to just be like, dude, like we were out there inventing the Daily Nine at the Carolina Hotel, and now we're like on the 16th tee at Cypress Point, like filming 18 holes. This is bananas.
Dude, yeah, man. I mean, it's come full circle. I mean, kind of a sicko's list of golf courses that
Yeah.
y'all have worked very, very hard to get on and build relationships with. I know you mentioned that sometimes you don't get to play, like, whether it's Bandon or whatever, man, but I can't imagine that. But it's still cool to experience, like, just with, you know I know the Barstool is a pretty tight knit crew. Obviously, there's been rotation of kind of the fourth chair, or whatever, but the original guys have been there for a long time, and you all have that family oriented, and you guys deserve the success. I know you guys get a good amount of hate, and the rigs for handicap stuff or whatever, but y'all do good work. And as someone who's been a fan of you guys for a long time, congrats on all the success. You guys have. I will give my boy Yip Strickler a shout out. He's a fellow Michigan person. You
Oh
guys have.
yeah,
You guys created him, man. It's like it's like the Barstool tree. It's like you guys
yeah.
created Yip. So, oh man, congrats on all the
Yeah.
success, man. It's been super cool to see.
Yeah, it's been great, man. And like, yeah, just some of the milestones when you do look back, just because I don't really think about them often. I'm always kind of just like, what's next? What's next? What's next? Like, that's just kind of how the content game is. Like, you're always kind of looking forward and can't really look back too much. But I remember like getting that TaylorMade news, just being like the first ever content creating group that's gonna have like a club deal, and they were like, you're gonna come to our kind of media day, we called it, and you're gonna have 45 minutes with Dustin Johnson and Matthew Wolf and Colin Morikawa and Tommy Fleetwood, and all of those collaborations really hadn't been done in the space at all, and we were just floored, shocked. Like if you go back and like watch any of those videos from legit probably 4 years ago now, um, that stuff was so cool. And it's just cool to it, similar to what I said. It's cool to have done that and be kind of pioneers in the space and see like where it's gone, right? Where it's like we got that tailor-made deal, we did all that cool content, and now it's like, so and so's with Callaway or so and so's with Tacoma or whatever it is, and they're kind of collabing with their pros, and it's just like, man, this whole world has really exploded.
Yeah, man. I mean, you filmed with Tiger fucking Woods. Like,
It is.
that's crazy. Yes. Shout out to Como. I am a selfish plug. I am on staff with them. So, yeah, man,
Oh,
thank you for pioneering the space so idiots like me can get a club deal. Congrats. That
seriously.
is awesome, man. And, like, another time we'll have to dive into some of those stories and some of those tailor-made stuff, because I want to spend a good amount of the time on the Internet Invitational, because that's where you spent a lot of time on. But you'll have to come on again. We'll have to do like a dive into the tailor-made stuff, because I'm very interested in the pro golf side, and I got to hear some stories, because I mean, tailor-made's got everybody: Rory, Scotty, Tiger. I mean, DJ, you name it, Colin, like all these guys. It's
Dude,
crazy, man. It's
we
crazy.
didn't even know Tiger was going to do that. Like obviously we didn't know, but nobody knew. Like nobody at TaylorMade knew. The story goes like we had hit up his caddy at the time, Joey LaCava, and we were like, we got 15-20 minutes with the big cat tomorrow. Like anything you want us to kind of say, bring up that'll kind of loosen him up or whatever. And or honestly, I think Frank just texted him like, we got 15 minutes with the big cat tomorrow. Like, can you believe it? And the next thing you know, like Tiger Woods is on his knees, like out driving Rick. And it's just like in somewhere, I think we think that Joey reached out to Tiger and was like, the Barstool guys are, gonna be with you tomorrow, like put on a show. And I think and then he did. Like that's yeah. It's just crazy to see like how everything kind of develops. It's wild.
Riggs is good friend Tiger Woods, right? I mean, they're
My brother.
they're my brother, yeah.
My brother.
Cool, man. Well, let's transition to the Internet Invitational, man, because I mean, it's been a month now ish, right? A little past a month since the finale aired. I guess how has been these last 45? Like, have you exhaled a little bit now that everything's done and you don't have to like worry about it anymore? Like, how has these last few days, these last few weeks been since everything is aired?
Definitely have exhaled a little bit, but it's funny because like the Internet Invitational wasn't on our schedule really before the year started. So the way that we work, we try to plan out a lot of the stuff that we do in terms of like videos that we have to get done for sponsors or series that we're looking to do, stuff that we promise certain people. So the Internet Invitational kind of like was a was like a block in our schedule. Whether it was obviously 3.5 weeks of content that we didn't really put anything out, that we were scheduled to put out. So all that stuff kind of just got like pushed back. So as soon as it ended, I exhaled for like a couple days. But then I was like, oh man, I still have to lead the squad to like get everything that we need done before the end of the year or whatever it may be. So definitely back like in grind mode hilariously, but yeah, I was able to take some time and like reflect on it all because the reach that it had, I don't know if anybody was like truly prepared, might not be the word, but like I don't know if anybody truly thought it was going to go as crazy as it did, because I mean every golf outlet picked it up. There were other outlets that weren't golf related that picked it up. I had friends and family texting me that have like never watched a piece of golf content ever in their life, just being like, "This whole Internet Invitational thing is awesome," and I'm like, "Why are you watching this? Like, you've never, once hit me up about anything that we've done or anybody in the space has done," but they were like, I don't know. Like, I'm just glued. I'm glued to Luke Kwan sleeping in. I can't believe it. I had like my friends' wives who don't golf, play golf, or do anything, and they're just like, I can't believe like he would sleep through that tea time, or this guy Chaz is the best. So I'm like, that I didn't see that coming. I didn't. I figured it would hit most of the YouTube golf world, if not all of it, and then you put Barstool and Dave behind it, and Dave's kind of following, and then it would obviously kind of go from there. But I don't know. It definitely reached this other level that was really cool to see. And when I was able to like reflect on it all, I'm just like, whew, you don't really get to do things like that often. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I would say, like, do you and the Jet like sit back like Picasso, just like admiring your work of just like, man, that is, as it was such a cool concept. And I think I speak for everyone when it's set when I say it definitely like like delivered on every expectation possible. Like when you guys said I don't think you could write a better script, I genuinely don't think like you could write a movie on like how just insane everything was. And like from someone who does YouTube, like my own stuff, like, and looking back on it, like you can realize like the stuff you guys, and this is just my opinion, stuff you guys are trying to do, like plant Easter eggs in episode 1 of stuff that is going to come up in episode 6, like the Melosi thing, like the slope thing, like obviously playing that in episode 1 and leading into episode 6, and like just the work you guys did was absolutely incredible, man. I wish you could get some more time off, probably well deserved. Hopefully you get some time off for Christmas, but or Riggs or whoever, man, give this man a break because you deserve it, man. But yeah, I guess walk me through the process, man. Like your process. And I know you touched on it on the foreplay pod, obviously. So I don't. Hopefully we can get it a little different and be like, just walk me through the process of everything, because like you said, getting Dave involved I think is a whole different animal in its own right. But just walk me through the process of everything, man, just how cool it was and what you did to get it to blow up.
Yeah. So there's it. I try to like compartmentalize like a lot of the different aspects of it all. You have like the on-site process, and then you have like the post-production process, or I guess I should say you have the pre-production like on-site process, and then you have the on-site process, and then kind of have the post-production process. I will say, dude, you mentioned the Jet, like he's the man, dude. He's so good at kind of just like eyeing what it should be and what good content is and what's unnecessary and what could come out and what could keep this thing flowing even faster. I love working with the Jet, dude. He gets it, and there's only like a handful of people that you truly, and honestly, it was the names kind of that I mentioned earlier. The big groups, all of the big YouTube golf groups, dude, like they have people who get it back there, kind of like fueling the fire. And those people are like true stars. Like they're the ones that kind of keep the train on the tracks, as people say. But yeah, man, the process is pretty crazy. Like you, we pretty much just the events team at Barstool takes care of a lot in terms of like dealing with players and getting everybody there, and then the marketing team and partnership team at Barstool takes care of a lot when it comes to like integrations for Duncan and teabag signage and all that. So that's something that I don't ever really need to think about, just because they're literally the best at what they do. Like the Barstool Classic is a behemoth, and like the best amateur golf event in my opinion, like out there. So they crushed that, and I knew they'd crush this. The like sponsor integration and all that stuff. Um, the partnership team is unbelievable at, so I knew they'd crush this as well. So all I had to really do was focus on my role, which is let's get all this stuff on camera, right? So how are we going to do this once the format was kind of settled, and we were doing like this more Ryder Cup style? There were two different kind of aspects to everything. There was like the reality aspect, whether it be like the draft or the repairings or pre-round stuff, and then there was the golf. The golf stuff's pretty straightforward, right? It was just kind of like put a camera on each twosome. So that means there's two cameras in each group. Put a camera on each green, and you won't really miss anything. And then the reality stuff, that's kind of where like the Barstool post production, pre production, on site team, like they crush that stuff. Like we've done Surviving Barstool, Stool Scenes forever is like just a reality show, and it's hard to teach. It's hard to like assign essentially, but like I knew that the crew that our team had brought and that we were all kind of in on would know exactly what to do on site, right? So it's like, hey, we're doing a draft tonight, and we'll set up cameras and make sure like everything's covered. But it's like the 5 or 6 people roaming with a camera that just know, when to hit record, who to talk to, what's going to be like the best content. Like that stuff's like really hard to teach. So you just got to go to, you go to war with like, your guys, and know that they're going to like do a good job. So like the process on site, um, as chaotic as it was, you just surround yourself with like the best people, in the space, in my opinion, and know that it's kind of just get done, which is great. But yeah, then everything else on site was like kind of straightforward. Like most people there had shot and filmed golf before. We had reached out to like all the creators, and we're like, hey, like your videographers are some of the best in the game, if not the best in the game. If they want to come and work, we'll obviously pay them. You'll obviously be there. You're probably going to have them there regardless to like create content with other creators, whether it be before or after. So if they want to come and film the Invitational, we'd love to have them as part of the squad. And that's where like your Carney came in. That's where Ryder came in, and they all just said yes. Like Cade, no, not Cade. Cade wasn't there for good. Caden
Buster
from
Jack's guy.
yeah, he was there, and they were great, dude. They were like, those are people you just hey man, go do your thing. Like I'm not here to tell you what to do. Just make sure you're recording the whole time. But yeah, so that was no, yeah, that was kind of the on-site golf process. Like you just put the ball in the hands of the talented people, and they'll ask a couple questions that usually I have an answer to, and off we went.
What was, if there was, like, what was, I guess, the biggest challenge or hiccup from, it could be on site, post production? Like, was there a big, like, oh shit, like, how are we going to get through this moment? I'm genuinely curious about that.
Um, yeah, dude, like obviously not gonna like name any names, but there were a couple people beforehand that like got sick or like couldn't. Yeah, they like couldn't come. So it's like, dude, there were like 3 people who like the day before, and it's no fault of their own. They like were legitimately sick and like couldn't film, and there were 48 people. Plus like Dave and Big Cat and just a lot of things that needed to like be done or whatever. So like having bodies drop like less than 48 hours before was definitely like tough. And I was just like, how are we gonna manage to figure this all out? And we wound up doing like a little bit of like musical chairs where so we put a camera on each green, but since we dropped like 3 bodies, and we didn't necessarily have like backup bodies, yeah, we took the 3 cameras off of like 9, 8, and 7 that were supposed to be like green cameras. We wound up putting them like with groups, and- because we needed people to shoot the actual competition. And then like as the 12 groups went through, um, and like finished, let's just say the first hole, the person who was on the green on one wound up getting in a cart and going to like 7 to then be like the 7th green can person. So we wound up having to do that with like the first 3 holes. I remember like timing wasn't really adding up, and I had to just go to like the 8th green like with my drone and just like leave it there, and was like, I'll be the green cam for the drone right now. I won't like film the golf. But those are just like little things, um, that you kind of always can't foresee happening. Like it sucks, dude. Like people got sick. I think somebody got food poisoning on site like the night before, and I was just like, damn, it's all right. Like, get better, get better.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We have to like play some musical chairs, no worries. But yeah, that was kind of like one little hiccup. I remember just being like, damn, I wish like that didn't have to happen. But I mean, when I was in post, like, and I was glad that we figured it out, because those shots were used. Like, you can't just not have somebody capturing balls, on the green. So it was it was pretty seamless though, man. I'm telling you, these squad is like really good, like really really good. Like everybody takes on more than what they probably should, right? Like everybody kind of knew the magnitude of the event, and how big it could be, and how big like future ones could be, like if we nail the first one. So everybody kind of just took on as much as they could. And if I was like, hey man, like so and so went down, like I need you to go from one green. I know your like assignment was just like one green for the 12 groups, but Nate, I need you to like go to 7. And he's like, dude, of course, no problem. Like I'll race over there as quickly as humanly possible or whatever. Yeah, just having like it's like a sports team. Like, if you have a roster of, you know, 48 unbelievable players, like you're gonna win. And we did. It was cool.
How much time do you think you spent on, I guess let's go focus on the post production, because like I know how much time editing takes. Like how much time do you think you spent in total just like editing and the post production stuff on the entire thing?
So at its height, there were probably like 15 different editors working on this thing. Yeah, so when we wrapped in the middle of August, the next week we pretty much spent just syncing it all. And Foreplay still had to like put out stuff be- between like the wrapping of the shooting till like the first episode of the Internet Invitational. So like my direct team of Kyle Timms and Jared and Ryan Richardson, like we were still doing our stuff. Like we were still filming matches at Bethpage like before the Ryder Cup, or uh, breaking 85s, going on trips and still doing our thing. So we had like the crazy talented group at Barstool, um, just kind of handle the initial steps of it all. So they spent like a week, I'd say, syncing, and then we had probably like 5 or 6 weeks of just like straight editing. We'd have like meetings every week to kind of just go back through it all and just make sure, everybody was on the same page. Here are like certain storylines. And then, yeah, man, we edited all the way up until like the day before the final one dropped. So it was truly, truly like 2.5 months straight, which is still kind of crazy. That's like nobody's really talking about like the turnaround time for like what it was. Like it was 3 hours and 45 minutes the first 2 episodes. Like that's a lot. Like that's a ton. And we turned around 6 episodes in like 2.5 months, if that, right? Like all of September, and like no, like less than 2.5 months. Yeah, it was like all of September and all of October. Yes, yeah, 2.5 months, which is astounding. Because obviously the product was like super polished as well. But for me, I spent like every second of every day thinking about it. So I don't really know what the total time is,
Yeah.
but yeah, I spent like all the time,
I,
thinking about it.
I
And then
can't even I can't even imagine what that rough cut was like.
uh,
Just like getting it down to 4 hours with all that camera, like that alone is just gives me massive anxiety, and it's just so daunting, man. It
we
is
treated we treated
truly.
everything. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
Yeah, we treated everything as if it was like its own individual
Video, yeah.
video or as if it was his own individual match. So, like I said, when we had like the group of 15 kind of cutting down everything, every editor had 3 or 4 matches that they got to like a really good point. And we will eventually release the individual matches on the channel coming in the next like month or so, just so everybody can kind of see, everything because we have this content. But yeah, they would get each match to like a really good point, and I created, or I guess we created, yeah, it was myself and the head of like post production and editing at Barstool created this log of the matches, and I talked about it on Foreplay a little bit, but that log was like the Bible, man. Every day somebody was updating like first hole Gabby Golf Girl and Kyle Berkshire. It was like must see chip in or George Bryan on 4, like have to include star 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 or third hole reference to slope. Please like check out in case like needed. It was like Fat Perez talks to Dave, and this is when Dave makes the decision to leave the slope on, even though he doesn't like necessarily know what it is. Like it was this log was so important. And then one of the things that I don't think I even said on foreplay was like there were like pretty specific instructions to note when other participants in the competition were referencing other matches. So we knew that like transitions were going to be hard. Like going from match to match was not going to be easy because we didn't want to voice anything over. We don't have like a booth like CBS or anything like that. That's not very YouTubey. We wanted it to be as YouTubey as we could make it. So using those like natural transitions from George Bryan being like, "Oh man, like looks like Team Orange is dominating," right? And that's pretty generic, but then you could go to a match in which like Team Orange is in the middle of the fairway and they're kind of like, in position A and they're about to win this hole. So, yeah, using the natural transitions was probably like the biggest hurdle or thing to figure out in post production, like going from place to place and kind of like weaving together a story for like 3.5 hours was definitely like daunting for sure.
Which is the stuff that I don't even think people realize. Like 90%, I don't know, 90, maybe that's a big term, but like a large amount of the viewers probably don't even realize the thought process that goes into the like people probably who do YouTube think about that, like, which is so crazy, man, because it just goes to show how deep into detail you guys are going and the work you guys get it to do to get everything to flow for literally 4 hours. Like, as somebody who watches a lot of YouTube golf doing in my line of work doing this channel, like it's hard even to stay engaged for an hour and a half, in some of these videos. And that's no test. Like it's just it's hard to create content. Like the fact that you guys were able to get, I mean, I tell you this, I'm not kidding. I watched that shit from start to finish all the way through. Didn't get like I was engaged the entire time, every episode. And I imagine most of the viewers were. So like the fact that you guys were able to get that long, like, is just a true testament to how successful it was. And like I said, I don't even think people will realize that, which is the crazier part. So shout out to you guys because it takes a lot of work to get there, man. And like I said, congrats. I can't tell you enough how great everything was.
Thank you. Yeah, man. Like these guys, they just know. Like we had like finishing editors on each episode, just because they came out so quickly and closely to each other. So I was episode 1. Our guy Kyle Timms was episode 2. Um, Kevin Zuppi at Barstool was episode 3. Trent Christensen was episode 4. Then Mike Delastrito was 5. And then it was a group effort between myself, Kyle, and Jared DeLibro on the finals, along with two other people who rough cut the finals, because there were so many mics, so many cameras that like this kid Matt Mines and this kid Nick Koss would literally watch a hole and only focus on like 3 mics and like 3 cameras, and then they'd go back and they'd watch it again from the start and pick 3 different mics and 3 different cameras. And obviously, it's a whole like people are all watching the same thing, so they're all talking about the same thing, so they understand. But in order to not miss anything, like these guys are so good at what they do, dude. They know they don't, and like they don't want to miss anything, right? Like they're not just gonna like, get through it to get through it because it's like another project. Like they're all studs. So yeah, they would go through it, and every episode I'd kind of get my hands on probably like 48 hours before, and I would just make sure it was making sense. Like you know, I know golf really well, and I know like how it should flow. So instead of going from here to here, maybe we go from like here to here just to like keep up, the pace. Or oh, he referenced like this match, like maybe we just go to this match instead. Or it would make more sense if we went back to the first tee to like watch this group tee off and just to know that they're out there instead of just like jumping on to that match for hole three, being like, oh, I forgot, like Brad was playing. It's like let's reference them actually teeing off, like certain things like that didn't take a ton of time, and it was easy to kind of just like kind of chop it up and get it to like where it needs to be. That was kind of like my gig for like the last for episodes like 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just get those to like perfect flow state. And then the finals, like dude, Kyle and Jared and myself kind of just tackled as a team. And that was like along with the minds and Nick Costas of the world that got through it all. And I don't think we I don't think we missed a single thing. It
Love
was
that,
cool.
man. Do you? I'm curious because you obviously are the one editing these types of storylines, but I don't know if you can see the sign over my shoulder here. The Melosi didn't use slope. We got Quan Gate, Sleeping in Gate, Page Gate. My question is, do you feel bad um, about any of that? Like, obviously, you can't control the outrage, but obviously, you're very good at what you do. You know what the storylines are going to be that are probably going to go viral. Like, do you feel bad about any of that or like any of the hate that's come out? And I guess talk me through like that process of like building up those storylines throughout the entire thing.
I mean, the short answer is yes, right? Like, I like those people. Like like what you and our guys say the same thing. Like, we like Mo. Like, we like Paige a lot. She's great. She's been a friend of the program. She's been a friend of Barstool for like over a decade. And I mean, on site we knew. Like on site, we're like, oh, she's gonna get hit hard on the internet. Like same with Mo. We're like, Mo's gonna get hit hard. But dude, that's Barstool. Like, what's happening on site is all on camera and and they knew that. Everybody knows that. Like you sign up to be there and knowing that, right? Like I remember Garrett coming up to me and being like, "We know cameras are rolling 24/7. Like that's what we're like prepared for." Because you try to tell them like, "Yo, this is going to be recorded. Like the draft's going to be recorded, or your range session is going to be recorded." And he's like, "Bro, I think everybody here knows, right? It's all being recorded. That's Barstool." So yeah, man, like as it's happening on site and it's all being recorded, I'm just like, and everybody, yeah, like Frankie knows, Riggs knows, like they're like, this is not good. This is not good for you. Like on the internet, it's not going to be good because that's what my job is to just give you what happened. Here's what happened, right? Like on site, this is what happened. People were accusing him of slope. Here's the footage that everybody's looking at. Here's, Paige got accused of moving fucking weeds or whatever. Here's the footage that we have of that, and I'm just gonna present it to you in like a dramatic fashion, just because like that's what we do. We're not, we drum it up with the music and kind of when we're gonna give you the information, but here's just what happened. So as like a human, I'm like, yeah, I feel bad. Like they're not. It's not good. It's not pretty. But as like the lead producer of the whole thing has to go in. Like I can't. We
Your
can't.
job is to create a product that gets views, right?
Yeah, we can't protect. We can't protect you like that. Like if we're like trying to protect Quan for Slopegate, like Luke Quan has every right to be like, dude, why'd you bury me? And it's like, no, dude, we're just putting it all out there. Like that's just kind of what happened, and we're gonna tell it in a compelling way because that's our job, and that's like well, obviously what gets people to watch. Kind of for that long period of time. Like if you're creating stories like that. Um, but yeah, I felt really bad for Paige because like she knew it too. She was just like, yeah, what I said on the first tee versus and paired with what wound up happening to me is just really bad look. Like it wasn't great. And I was like, yeah, it is what it is. But I felt bad because like none of her stuff like really mattered, right? Like she lost the whole. Um, and if she were to get like caught and like somebody were to say and make a ruling, like the ruling would have been that their team loses that hole anyway. So it was like kind of irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. But it was conversation that was going on. So I had to, we had to just keep it in. It is what it is. Sorry. I'm sorry. They all understand too, man. They're all content creators. They all know. Like it is what it is.
I know whenever you guys release like all the footage that people are going to be coming through every single second of Mo's
Yeah.
camera footage to try and find a
Or not.
anything of him, like if there's the slightest like inkling of him having slope on. So I'm curious to see how that rolls out. My question is, was there a big, and I doubt it because obviously Barstool, but like was there like a big moment or like big thing on camera that maybe didn't make the final cut of anything? Like anything that you could think of like footage wise that was good but didn't make it?
One thing that I was like, I wish we had. So like Luke obviously was late that first day. So like he didn't have like a mic on or anything like that. So like when he pulled up to like talk to Dave, I think he had like better dialogue. Like I didn't know what exactly he said. Like I don't know. I wish I heard him. I wish I could have heard him. I wish we all could have heard him. There was no like GoPro in his cart, so like we had to wait for Dave to go over there and cameras to go over there because he was kind of having a conversation with him like kind of far away, and I was like, I don't know what he's saying. Like I don't know if he's apologizing through his teeth. I don't think he was, but I don't know what he's saying. So we kind of just let it all play out. But I wish like when we woke up Luke, we also just like stuck him with a mic and a camera. That's just kind of like the perfectionist in me, I'd say. But no, man, I think like you'll see a lot of Duke stuff. Um, he runs the risk of getting your video demonetized.
Yeah.
Big, big time. Which is not good for the algorithm or
No.
anything. Yeah, like I think he's very open about just saying he smokes a ton of weed, and
Yeah.
like that's not good for YouTube, right? Like paraphernalia is bad. YouTube doesn't like that stuff. So there were some Duke moments that were very funny that we'll probably put in his individual match, but we really didn't want to run the risk of uh, you know hurting the video performance wise, leaving in him like him and Sketch just like passing the bowl around. It's like, like it's funny and we'll leave it in the individual match, but like it's such a good video for us to chance, you know, demonetization or like any algorithm suppression just because the Duke wanted to like get high. It's like, it's gone. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, for sure. What was Dave's like? Was Dave pretty hands off in the editing like slash production process? Obviously, I know it was you guys and Bob. Bob Does Sports created the new company or whatever, but like Dave obviously put the money up. I feel like, and so I guess what was his process like? And was he heavily involved, or was he just hands off saying, "Go cook"?
A little bit of both. I think he's actually like the best like to work for. But he's very aware of like what he doesn't know. Like he knew the YouTube golf space was huge. And obviously wanted to be a part of it and do this event. But I don't think he consumes a ton of YouTube golf. And I think he'd be like the first person to tell you that. So when we did like all social cuts and edits and teases and stuff that are like quick hitting. He's very like quick to watch those, and he has opinions on them, which is great because he's been doing it forever, and his opinions are like right. They're something you just listen to. So like the first tease, it's like don't give away a single thing, just like a couple like. That first tease came out weeks prior, and nobody knew that it was even a team format. It was kind of just bunch of swings, hype, stories, like what is this thing going to be? And that's like a testament to Dave to a degree, where he's just like, we cannot give away anything, like even an inkling of like team format. So if you go watch that like first tease, there's like not a ton of high fiving showing like that there's people on the same team. Yeah, not a ton of like people in the same cart essentially. So yeah, he was great with all that stuff. And then when it came to the episodes, I think like one of the meetings a couple weeks prior to the first episode coming out, I had an inkling that like he doesn't watch a ton of YouTube golf, so he wasn't like totally prepared for like the number in terms of like what it was going to be. So I just like blurted out in a meeting. I was like, first episode's 4 hours, by the way. Just want you to know that. And he just goes, whoa. And I was like, yeah. But when you think about it, like people watch golf coverage for like 6, 7 hours on like Saturday and Sunday. So we essentially just like cut it in half and made it entertaining the whole time. So once he kind of figured that out, he was like, okay, like I'm starting to, pick up what you guys are putting down. And it moved too. Like, obviously the opening montage like gets you right into it. And then you're just kind of, into a draft. They're doing what, the format. Um, yeah, so I think he started to really see what YouTube golf was about and what the product was going to be, and like you said, he kind of just let us cook. He had some things that he wanted to say about like let's make it a little bit easier for the viewer to see whose team people are on, which is great. Like someone who doesn't watch a ton of YouTube golf, there's going to be a lot of those people. So like his opinion is very strong. Like if we want those people to watch and be kind of engaged, then yeah, we should probably make it as easy as possible. Like let's throw up orange on the graphic to show that these people are on this team, and pink on this graphic to show that they're on this team. Make it a little bit easier for everybody. Um, so yeah, he was definitely like I'd say pretty hands off. He watched everything. Everybody watched, him, his team. They watched it all. They honestly didn't have a ton. I think they just, saw the success of the first episode, and they were like, "All right, these boys are on to something." So, I know it's 3.5, 4 hours, but it seems like they're doing something right. So we'll let them do their thing, and the feedback was great, man. It was like you said, people just in the comments being like, this was edited well, shot well, like had me kind of hooked for 3.5 hours, which doesn't happen these days. So yeah, it was cool. He was fucking perfect, dude. Perfect to work with for this.
The
And honestly,
AVD an hour, like an AVD was an hour.
dude,
Average view
yeah,
duration.
over
That's insane.
yeah, like I think it was like about like 50 minutes or so.
That's crazy, man.
Not, and
And
and he's so good at content too. Like if he's on site, he could sense like if something's slowing down or if like something needs something. At the end of those middle two episodes, he's like, I'm gonna just start offering people money to essentially like flip ish on their teammates and like get them thinking. Like he just knows. He just knows. He's like king
he's a
of content.
genius. I
Yeah, he's
mean,
king of
I went.
content. For a reason, dude.
I'm a huge Michigan State fan, married a Buckeye, so I don't not a Michigan fan, but I mean, Dave, think about what you want, man. I mean, the dude he's successful and he's very, very good at what he does. And whatever you want to think about him, I personally, I'm a huge Dave fan. I think he's a genius. Like he's put a lot of fucking time and work to get where he's at. And props to him because he's a character, but he's very good at what he does. And yeah, man. What about the next one? I mean, obviously, I know he had talked about the $10 million prize pool. I think Bob did a podcast with Garrett that released today, which I was listening to earlier. Have you
Yeah.
guys talked about the next one and how
Uh,
that? I mean,
we have. It's just nothing's firm yet. I wish I could give you something, but we have. And we're definitely doing one. That's for sure. Trying to do one similar time. But like location isn't firm yet. Amount of people isn't firm yet, whether it's up or down. Format probably pretty similar, just because it went really well, and like that lends itself to like the best content. Like team golf is awesome. Team golf with like creators is even better. Team golf with creators with money on the line, all time. That's the one. So yeah, it'll probably be pretty similar. Definitely doing a second one. Um, yeah, there's like a few I mean, people reach out. Like venues have reached out, right? Like people want to be a part of it. So yeah, it's hard to like have something firm, even though like August is like 8 months away. We probably should get on it pretty good. Um, but yeah, there'll be internet invite too.
I imagine after the success of the first one, man, people are jumping at the bit to get involved, and like it's a testament to YouTube golf. Like obviously, where the world of professional golf is, the PGA Tour is obviously doing well. Live is live. But man, the future is on YouTube, and I don't, obviously you guys have gotten hate from, everyone gets hate, and regardless, but like YouTube golf has gotten a lot of hate these recently, but man, the future's on there. I mean, fucking LeBron was tweeting about George Grant Wesley yesterday, dude. I mean, like,
Crazy.
yeah, dude, like, YouTube is the future, man. And side note, if you guys do need a YouTube commentate, whatever, my DMs are open for the second one. Let me know.
Yeah.
You give you a great deal. I promise. I mean, I do it for free. You ain't got to pay me.
The whole story was, that round of 12, we going in weren't sure how we were going to determine the 3-person teams, because if you do a draft, if you do a snake draft, like one team's going to be wicked uneven. It's exactly pretty much what played out on camera. Like, I'm not breaking any news, but like, you pick your 4 that are the best, that are like the clear best, and then like, if you snake it, then like Brad gets screwed essentially, or Brad has too good of people on his team essentially, like whatever. Whatever. Moral story was, we were going to have a committee pick the 3 teams. Yeah, that's where like Nate came in. I think the Divot dudes were in, and then myself, the Jet, but the Jet was in it, so I think I don't know, he didn't make it to 12, but he was still in it at the time, so he was like, I'm biased. Um, we were gonna have the people who were eliminated, so like Riggs was eliminated, Robbie was eliminated. They were all gonna be part of this committee to like pick the fairest teams, and then Dave wound up kind of talking to the players, and they wound up doing it on their own, which I kind of liked. Um, it's a reality TV show. Like, people gave Paige a hard time about that too. They were like, "Oh, she got her way," and it's like, dude, she's playing for $1 million. She's trying to get the best team possible. Like, this is a show that we're making content, and she's trying to win. And people are like, "She's mean," and I'm like, dude. One, no, she's just like trying hard. She's just trying hard to make her team the best team. Uh,
People just like to bitch, man. Like, that's just what I've come down to, man. People just like I said in all my videos, like, dude, it's reality TV. Like, it's reality TV turned into YouTube golf, and that's a lot of what Barstool does from time to time. Like you said, with Surviving Barstool, like even the Ryder Cup to an extent. I mean, the Ryder Cup is some of my favorite content that you guys have done, but like, man, that's just the Barstool way. And regardless, I mean, you guys have had a great proof of concept. The second one, I don't know how you're gonna top the first one, but man, the second one, it's gonna have a lot of hype behind it. So I hope you guys are ready to innovate, because man, it's gonna be hard to top the first one.
no,
That was awesome, dude.
can't, dude. You can't. Dude, we got the news. Rest in peace, Beef. He was the
Yeah.
best of all time, dude. Like, but we got the news that he passed the Monday, or I think the same day the first one was supposed to come out, and we sat in the room for a couple hours, like me and the squad, and we're just like speechless, didn't know what to say. And then, like, the first words out of my mouth, I was like, "Yo, he fucking wins this thing. Like, this is insane." So the whole like editing process, and this is just like, obviously it won't be topped because like this was the best ending of all time for our guy, but the whole editing process was, you know, you want to make the best product, but everything changed to just like, you have to do right by our guy Beef. Like, there were some edits that we made in the first like 5 episodes that weren't originally in them, but then when you got the Beef news, we were like, let's get more Beef moments in there. Maybe it's not the most relevant, but like whatever, like let's do right by our guy here, or like maybe let's take this, this hole is actually irrelevant. He missed that putt, whatever. Like, we don't, the world doesn't need to see that or whatever. Like, we're not going to do Beef like that. And then the whole ending, it was yeah, it was insane, man. It was like, as it on site, everybody was emotional because of like what he had said. So it's like, this guy is gonna go like donate the money or give the money, pay off his parents' house, donate some of it, and on site he gets emotional because like it's the biggest win of his like life and career. He had like the wildest like 11 months ever. Like, he got hired, came out of the gates firing, wins the Ryder Cup. He's just like, this is awesome. Wins mini golf, wins the Internet Invitational. Dude's like on top of the world. So I think it all just like started to hit him, and then he got emotional, and then we all got emotional. Like, just because you see somebody like that, you get, people just start crying, dude. You're just like, this is just a great moment, and you don't have a ton of those in life, especially, or even when it comes to like work professionally. And then you get the news, and you're like, oh my god, dude, this is gonna be. I couldn't edit, like, not that I couldn't edit it, but our guy Kyle like tackled the first, go around, or first couple go arounds of like the ending with Beef. And I was like, man, I don't know how you're doing it. And he was like, I would have to set aside like time to do it. And then I'd have to stop because like I couldn't keep watching it over and over again. Like you get like, way too emotional. I would text the guys. I'm like, this is unbelievably difficult to do. But yeah, the mindset was just, you got to do it, and you got to do it right for our boy. And yeah, that's just kind of the way it went, and I was happy that it kind of shook out the way that it shook out.
Yeah, man, that ending that hit me hard. Like I, as a fan, like I get pretty emotional. I'm like Riggs. I cry pretty easily, and
Yeah.
so like that. I mean, that was brutally like happy. Like like you felt for the guy, but like seeing everything. I mean, I only sent him a few DMs. Like I was actually trying to get him on when he got hired, and he had same thing. Like in the DMs, have a wonderful day. Like to the T. It's like he was just the best dude ever, man. I wish he's my age. Like that one kind of hit hard. It's like this. I'm 31. Like that was like holy shit. Like, and I still remember the emotions waking up and seeing. I didn't believe it at first. I was like, man, that is. And obviously, how it panned out, man. I don't want to say it was a perfect ending, but I'm glad he got the shine he deserved because he was an amazing human being. And I wish he could be here now to experience all the
Oh,
success that it had. But you guys are
dude,
doing right by him, and I think you guys have done everything in your power to make it special for him. And you guys have done a good job with that. So shout out,
thank
Beef.
shout out Pete, bro.
Cool,
Exactly.
man. Any last minute sign off? I feel like this is a good spot to end it. Any last minute sign off messages? Feel free. Other than that, Brennan, we'll plug your socials in the description. Foreplay stuff in the description. Drop them a sub. Drop them a follow. You know the guys. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. Hit me as a sub button as well. But any last minute messages, man? Otherwise, I will let you go. Thank you so much for the time today.
No, man, I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you covering the thing. I
Yeah,
love that you got a little bit of a bump from this too. Like, I love, just people succeeding is the best, dude. So appreciate everything. Thanks for having me on. Hopefully, I could come back on and after a successful internet invite too.
that's right, man. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Brennan. Appreciate your time.